Not too long ago, it has been reported that the one percenters are upset that the world has too many people. So how do you get rid of people other than a disease? A major world war. So what if you were to find out that the participants of the future war are all in cahoots with each other, for they are all part of the Greek kingdom? For under the Greek kingdom, you have three major religions. Why? Because the Greek kingdom includes Jerusalem, Rome, and Iran, which is part of Iraq and Syria, as the Medes. For the Medes includes Assyria, which is part of Iraq and Syria. In other words, be careful where you get your information from. So let's watch.
Russia has just issued a chilling warning to Israel. Since Israel announced plans to take full control, the world has been in an uproar condemning the move. Now Russia has stepped in, declaring that if Israel dares to proceed, Moscow will not stay silent and could launch severe action. Israel is now on high alert. Iran and Pakistan have also joined the warning, stating that if Israel makes any aggressive move toward, they will respond with strong measures. Meanwhile, the Western stance is shifting. Australia has announced it will officially recognize Palestine as a state, and Germany has halted all exports to Israel in protest.
Hello. So let's watch. Who is who? If you don't know, it's nothing new.
This was taken 4 years before World War I, and these are 9 kings. It might be the only photo in existence of 9 kings ever taken. Not only were all these guys friends, but a lot of them were related. And I'm not just talking about distant relatives. The heads of Russia, Germany, and the UK were first cousins. These two guys could be twins. This is Tsar Nicholas of Russia and King George of Britain, and they may as well be brothers. They were frequently mistaken for each other at weddings and events. After this photo was taken, 4 of these monarchies would cease to exist. One of these leaders would be assassinated, and 20 million people would die because of these guys' egos. Many of them grew up together or shared a grandmother, and when the war started, some of them tried to cover up these connections. Like the UK royal family today is known as the House of Windsor. That changed in World War I. Before that, they were the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, but that sounded way too German when they were literally fighting the Germans. Like, oh, can't everyone, associate me with my cousin? This picture just represents like the final gasp of that old world that was.
Hello. So let's watch what the Ethiopian Bible warned us about. First book of Maccabean. After Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, came from the land of Kittim, had defeated Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes, in other words, Iran, Iraq, and Syria, he succeeded him as king. So in other words, Greece now controls Iran, Iraq, Syria. They also control Rome, which is part of the kingdom of the Greeks. They also control Jerusalem, for it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and it became an evil adversary to Israel. So Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. In other words, Jerusalem is part of the Greek kingdom. So what does it say in 2nd Esdras? Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Don't forget China joined up with Russia, who's joined up with Syria, who's joined up with Babylon. And what did the God of Israel say he would do? Therefore, thus said the Lord God of Israel, behold, I am bringing such evil upon Jerusalem and Judah, because they have done which was evil in my sight, and have provoked me to anger since the days their fathers came forth out of Egypt, even unto this day. So that's why the Ethiopian Bible will tell you that Jerusalem became an ambush against the sanctuary and an evil adversary of Israel continually. And we all know that the children of Israel are Ethiopians. And that entire Middle East used to be called Ethiopia. So let's watch how they do it.
So this happens in every nation that has become an autocracy, having been a democracy. So whether we're talking about Brazil with Bolsonaro, or India, or Putin and Russia, the Philippines with Duterte. So start with winning an election. Mm-hmm. Usually the last one you're going to get to have for real. Number two, you have an expansion of executive power. The president decides he wants more than he's supposed to have. Number three, you start to make the Congress complicit. So you weaken them and you neutralize or neuter the judiciary. Like, oh, I don't know, the Supreme Court giving you unfettered power and saying we don't have the ability to stop things. Then you move on to firing all the people who know how to make government work. So you gut the civil service. And you do that because you want to break democracy so people forget the stuff that used to get done. So you can't get your Social Security check. So the CDC doesn't know what diseases are anymore. Then you put in place these loyalists, people who are only responsive to you. You put them in charge of the FBI so they go after your enemies. You put them in charge of the Department of Justice, the Department of Defense, so they can signal to their friends and tell them all about the evil plans that you have. Then
you do this. So that's how the script is set up right now. The script is set up for the world to go against America and Israel, even though they're in cahoots with Russia. Let's watch.
What's wrong with your country? Well, we don't even start by saying the King of Belgium created a slave colony for 30 years. The government of Belgium ran the slave colony for another 40 years. The CIA assassinated your first popular leader, Mr. Lumumba, and then installed another dictatorship for the next 30 years. And then Glencore and others now suck out your cobalt without giving you tax income. We don't reflect on that. We say, what's wrong with you? Why don't you govern properly?
Are you an African descendant? Are you Afro-Caribbean? If you are of melanin, these are chilling facts you need to know.
This is what you need to know in Ezekiel 38. It tells you straight up, an army from the north, in other words, an army from Russia, will enter the mountains of Israel, which is located in Ethiopia. So you see, and the word of Jehovah continued to occur to me, saying, Son of man, get your face against Gog and the land of Magog, Meshesh and Dubal. That's its Turkey. This is what the sovereign Lord Jehovah has said. Here I am against you, O Gog, chieftain of Tubal. You will come with a military force from the north, and you will enter into Ethiopia. When Ethiopia aligns itself with Persia, which is Iran, and also Libya. And when will this happen? After many days thou shalt be given attention in the final part of the years. You will come to the land of people brought back from the sword. In other words, it will happen around 2049. That will be 430 years of transatlantic slavery. So after that happens, then this will happen. And there you will find Sheba. So they have you thinking that Sheba died thousands of years ago, when in fact she's supposed to be here at the end of the times with Solomon to form the Solomonic dynasty, or it's called the dynasty of Moses and Sheba. Either way, it's supposed to happen in the end. Hence, Russia is going to be an enemy to Ethiopia.
Salient information Africans have to know about the world. Russia never owned black slaves, nor did Russia create a market for the exchange of black people. 1600 to 1800.
So you see how the script is? The script is for most Africans to follow Russia instead of America, when in fact Russia and America are part of the same Greek kingdom, which is part of ancient Egypt and Rome.
Russia never participated in the Berlin Conference
but Russia and America are under the Roman calendar. So what are you talking about?
divide Africa like a piece of goat meat, 1884. Russia never colonized, underdeveloped, and plundered Africa's resources, 1914.
Russia backed the Derg that helped depose Haile Selassie. But Haile Selassie said he will hide his face from a wicked generation. So even Ethiopians are bad also. Not every Ethiopian is good. For it is written that good and bad, he grew up together. So let's watch. And know this if you didn't know.
3 of them, they had the white helmets. I didn't get any IDs off them, but as soon as they stepped inside, what stepped in behind them were these 2 people in black with black ski masks on.
Remember, they said when the World Trade Center fell, it started World War III, or the never-ending war, or the war against terror. In other words, the war started when the World Trade Center fell.
And Uzis, and the Uzis were, hanging off their necks. and I don't know what they were or who they were, but the battalion chiefs started yelling at us, right, ordering us to get out of this building, get out of this building. They're going to pull the building, everybody out now, and they ordered us back out.
But I try and get back into 7 World Trade, and I go in there, and there's a guy at the bottom of the escalators with a long arm or machine gun, and he goes, "You can't come back in here." So I properly identify myself. I'm a sergeant from NYPD. Going on, because I don't care who you are, you're not coming back in the building.
In other words, know who run the world and know where you get your information from, because they're killing you with a bunch of false information for you to follow them.
This video was released and shown to the people of America and the world, and we were all told that this was Osama bin Laden accepting responsibility for the attacks on September 11th. But let's compare the Osama in this video to a photograph of the known Osama. When you compare the two, you'll notice that the Osama in the video has a shorter nose. He also appears to be a little chubbier. As the Osama in the video waves his hand, look carefully. You'll see he's wearing a ring and a wristwatch. Jewelry is forbidden by people of the Islamic faith. You'll also notice that when he signs on this pad, he's signing with his right hand. We know that the real Osama was left-handed.
Hello, know where you get your information from. And remember who didn't help Selassie and who was down with who. Let's watch.
England and France abandoned Ethiopia to Mussolini.
Your Imperial Majesty, what were your own personal feelings at that time?
My personal feeling with my hope, I continue to struggle to have our freedom from the fascists.
Did you ever give up hope, Your Imperial Majesty?
Never, in any time, I continue with big hope because I have a relation with my patriot people. I continue to encourage them. They continue their struggle.
Follow God, not man.